One of the most well-known concepts in economics is supply and demand. We're going to start our analysis of supply and demand here today. Let's begin on the demand side. The reason I'd like to do this is because we're going to see that demand drives a lot of the decisions in the economy. And it's not to say that supply isn't important, but a lot of our analysis is going to come from the demand side. So with that in mind, let's do some basics. When we talk about demand, we're going to use this term in a very specific way. And we're going to say that if you have demand for an item, then not only are you willing to buy it, but you're also able to buy it. So there are many things that I might be willing to buy, but if I don't have the money to get it, then I don't have the demand. On the other hand, there are many things that I am able to buy. I've got more than enough money to buy these things, let's say, but I don't need them. I don't want them. They're not something that I desire. So demand is this specific combination of willingness and ability to buy. Again, the reason we're starting here, we're going to say that demand is almost like the engine. It's going to motivate a lot of our economic system. We are going to bring supply into this, and we can talk about alternate theories about why supply is more important. But most of what we're going to see in traditional economics looks at things from the demand point of view. Think about our circular flow as you consider this. We are looking primarily, not only at this, but primarily at the consumers spending money. This is a term that we have thrown around before, consumer sovereignty. This is to say that the consumer is in charge of the economy. In other words, the idea would be businesses will not produce things that people don't want to buy. So if you're looking at trends in fashion and social media or whatever, in movies, in anything like that, the consumer is driving those decisions. In economics, we're going to find several laws, and it's important to say this before we go any further. A law in economics is a statement that is mostly true. It's not going to be true 100% of the time, but it is mostly true. A law is a statement that is mostly true, and this is going to be the law of demand. The law of demand is going to say that there is a relationship between two variables that is mostly true. Not true 100% of the time. There will be exceptions. The first variable is the price of an item. So maybe we're talking again about Lucy in the lemonade stand, and we're saying we are looking at the price that she is charging for a glass of lemonade. And the other variable is going to be the amount that gets purchased by the consumer. Now, again, this law of demand, it's going to be a statement that is mostly true, not true 100% of the time. And the law of demand says that there tends to be an inverse relationship between the price and the amount purchased. In other words, the higher the price, the less gets purchased. The lower the price, the more gets purchased in many cases. When we analyze demand, as we have talked about now frequently, economists are going to use models. And the first model that they're going to use is a demand schedule. A demand schedule is a two-column table. We're going to put price in the first column, and we're going to put quantity for Q for quantity. That's the amount purchased in the other column. And we'll just make up a quick example here. Let's say that when Lucy charges $1 for a glass of lemonade, people buy 5. And when she raises her price to $2, they only buy 2. This is a table that gives us an example of the law of demand at work. As the price goes up, the amount purchased goes down, the inverse relationship. We can draw a picture of the information in the demand schedule, and when we do this, it's called a demand curve. This name can be a little confusing because frequently the curve, since we'll be looking at 2 points, is a straight line, but technically we still use the name demand curve. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the information from that demand schedule and we're going to draw a picture of it. We're going to plot points, We're going to connect the dots, and this picture is going to be a shorthand representation of the law of demand. We will always put the price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal axis. Those of you that have taken a lot of math classes, this will seem backwards, but this is the way economists do it. This is the way you will always see it in textbooks and review books on AP exams and in college courses. So that's the way that we'll do it too. All right, so imagine the information that we saw in the demand schedule. We are going to put that information on this picture, and it's going to look like this. It's going to have the, because it's an inverse relationship, it is going to slope down and to the right. All right, so there were those points. At $1, 1 point, we are seeing 5 purchased. And then when we raise the price to $2, we see only 2 purchased. Price goes up, the amount purchased goes down, the inverse relationship. In our discussion today, I would like for you to think about everything that you have learned so far about demand, and I'd like for you to identify something for which you currently have a demand. That is to say, something for which right now you are both willing and able to purchase, and then also identify something for which you currently do not have a demand, which means you maybe want it but can't afford it, or you can afford it and don't want it.